I
Okay.
hate thimble magic. Okay, I said it.
Okay, guys. So, welcome to the 11th episode of the podcast. In this number, we have a very special guest. It's
Thimbles.
There you go. It's destined to be the thimbles. They haunt you.
But use the proper fingers.
Yes. The
Yeah, the pinkies. Yeah, exactly.
okay. Anyways, yeah. Sorry, Rico.
thanks for fucking with my introduction. We have one of my good friends, Fritz with a Z. But just more than being my good friend, Fritz has performed at the Magic Castle. He's one of the only, I think, the only Dutch magician that has performed in every continent of the world. Um, he lectures all over the world. He has a great sense for comedy. He's a great performer, professional magician. And yeah, well, Fritz, thank you for being on the podcast.
If you have time, I will get Fritz right now. See you in a moment.
Yeah, yes.
Wow, that's yeah. It's correct. Yes, yeah. It's good to look back on what you've accomplished sometimes. So yeah, that's good. Thanks for the introduction.
I was performing for the polar bears.
Very cold. They cannot really hold cards. So and doing on the deck, they don't really care because they think it's just ice. So yeah, so not really impressive for them. But, yeah,
They took the rock.
yeah, they still applaud, and then yeah, mission accomplished. That's it.
And then the seals must be a great audience as well, right?
Always, it doesn't matter what you do. It's like you do this, and then they go, "I get it's fantastic." Yeah. And then you've got the penguins, always skeptic. You cannot impress them with your ambitious card. You have to do like 15 phases of oil and water, and then they go.
Would they even understand card to pocket? They're like, what the fuck is that?
They don't understand. They don't have the concept of a pocket. So
Exactly.
if you don't know the concept of a pocket, it's the like the there's no pocket. So they it looks like you would make it appear from your
Armpit,
I guess,
right?
yes, from your armpit, exactly. Yeah. Card from
It's
armpit.
hairy. It's like it's better, right?
Yes. Actually,
It's
there's a card trick that I've sessions with. This is just we're gonna go. We open the floodgate, so we're going wherever it takes us. So there's a
Go.
trick
Yeah.
that I think we sessioned on with my friends back in the UK. So basically, it was a card to pocket, but you use your armpit, and so you would do the first card and then the second one, and at the end you would go like, oh, all the cards are here except for the one because it plays at chest height. It's a bit silly, but still functional on the beach, I guess.
I think you don't want to play a game that you can't win against.
Oh no. Oh no.
Come on, baby. Come on, go for it. Go for it.
I was with Alvaro in London, and we had we first made some risotto, like with him and a friend of his, and then we had like a bottle of wine, and then another bottle, and then a few more bottles, and then at the end of the night we were just jamming, and his friend is a musician, so we were just jamming magic at one point, showing him magic, and we were all
We were
done
doing
with the night.
in any type of effect, like making up your cards inside of the bottle of wine, like anywhere. So he was like, now what else? Continue. It was just a punctualization.
And we were just about to stop the night, and Alvaro was like, "No, wait. There's one spot we haven't made the card appear yet." And he made him pick a card, made him sign it, put the deck down. I was like, "Watch." Turns around, pulls down his pants, opens up his butt cheeks. In his butt cheeks, there's just one card folded up. Takes it out, and it's the signed card.
Yeah, I'm logging off right now, guys. See you. No, but that's what happens when you session with other people. You get these crazy ideas. I've seen really weird stuff at magic conventions late at night. Almost traumatic experiences. I've seen I've seen. I did a twisting the aces with one hand, and the other hand was Sean Farquhar, so we had to do it that way, which is weird because it doesn't make any. It feels very unnatural. But then somehow a card vanished, and it also ended up in somebody's ass, and then he said you could use that to twisting the butts. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's okay. That's our brain. So
Yeah. Yeah, these kind of things are totally weird, and actually when you see these kind of things on someone else, it's like, what the heck is this person doing, you know? But when you do it, it's like everyone that sees this effect is going to remember you just because of this effect, you know? So this is like a punishment, you know? So
yes. So because of the
so that's the problem.
it's so absurd that it sticks in your mind, um, positively or negatively, could be either. So yeah, but
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so Rico told me you were participating at the Amsterdam Magic Show. Rico has been performing there as well, but I've never been there. I can't wait to be there. Can you talk us a little bit more about it? Because I guess like many people who listen to the podcast or watch the podcast don't know about it. So could you tell us a little bit more about your interventions on the show and everything?
sure. The Amsterdam Magic Show is a strip club in the red light district, and Rico performs there nightly in his burlesque act called the Dancing Penguin. And no, so the
I don't have a concept of
Oh
that.
shit! So don't continue. I give a fuck. You know?
so the Amsterdam Magic Show was born from the idea of having a place in Amsterdam where one could see magic. I had a lot of friends traveling to Amsterdam and asked me, "Hey, where can we see a magic show?" And the magic shows that were around, they were only in Dutch. Um, so that was kind of frustrating. And then, apparently I thought there was a demand for it. So with my magic club, we had a few members there who were interested in participating. Quintus, Timon, and Georgie from Budapest was also still living in Amsterdam. He was doing his PhD in Amsterdam. And I knew Arthur as well. And but the idea never got off. And then Alex Blackwood came to our club, and somehow that connected, that clicked. And from that on, we decided, because he also was looking for a venue or a place where one could perform and see magic. So we did our first show in July 2016, sold out, and we did. It was nice to showcase magic in Amsterdam, because it used to be like a prominent city with regards to magic, and it's nice to bring magic back to Amsterdam. So so the idea is also now for up and coming magicians that want to perform. There's the possibility, if you want to work on your close-up magic, it's also possible. And traveling magicians, there's always a guest spot available. So and also to show people that there's not only drugs and sex in Amsterdam, but also magic.
Different kind of magic.
Different kind of magic, yes. You can become very magical with drugs and sex, but who doesn't want to see a card trick, right? Right?
But hey, if you look at it
Yeah.
like where the location used to be, you could first take drugs, then go to the show, and then have sex afterwards, because it was in the red light district.
Yeah, so the first venue was like a burlesque place called Paleis van de Weemoed, and I've performed there before. I think it was a
Doing burlesque.
Yeah, in the burlesque, exactly. Yes, I had this tassels right here. No, but it was like a small theater, like a very vaudeville kind of feeling, and I thought this was great to do magic. It was very intimate. There's like a small stage like this high, And yeah, so again, everything came together when we did the show, and we did like 2 or 2.5 years in Paleis van Weemoed, and then we got too small. But Rico's correct. If you want to see our show, you can get high first, then see the best magic in the world, and then if you want to, relax after all the magic, just go around the corner and maybe my mom is there working. I don't know. Could be he's busy. I don't know what's up with her. So.
Nice, nice. So, what kind of magic do you do there? Cause I guess you are like different magicians doing or trying to do like a gala with different types of magic. So what kind of magic do you do, and what kind of character do you have in the stage?
So I don't do thimble magic. I don't know if you noticed that, but I don't do thimble magic. So the type of magic that I do would be a mix of comedy and magic. Mostly magic when doing the Amsterdam Magic Show. That is the I like to make people laugh as well, make them go huh and ha. So the ha and the ha, I like that a lot. So yeah, so the choice of material is mostly based on close-up stuff that I used to do, but I just brought it to stage, make it a little bit bigger.
Verticalizing everything, right? Like...
Yeah, vertical. Yeah, exactly. So with I don't do a lot of card tricks on stage because I don't feel the need to do card tricks on stage. But if I do, I try to make it simple, not too complicated, and also I try to make it easy for myself because I would focus rather on entertaining the audience, making sure that it's the structure of the trick is layered, so that it's still hard for the audience to figure it out as well, obviously. So
Isn't there also a rule about not doing card magic on stage?
for me,
No, in general for the show.
for the show, actually, so there's not really a rule. So it basically what I would like, no more than 50% of the show should be card tricks. So and that's why I have a repertoire of not particularly card tricks, or they don't feel like card tricks, but I don't mind seeing it on stage, but try to have a variety of magic, classic magic as well, and preferably without a table, because and also try to do it surrounded, because back then in the other venue, your angles were horrible. I think it was you had to 270 degrees, which also, and even if you tried to back up, you would hit the wall because it's there.
Exactly.
So,
the only place where there was no person in that venue was like right behind you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. So you need to also, so there's a lot of aspects, working the angles, making sure you connect with everybody, because a lot of magicians tend to forget that they need to connect and, lock eyes with the audience member in not a creepy way, but, and interact with them. So that place was really good for that. And now with Boom Chicago, where we are now, we have both the big theater and the small theater at the disposal. The big theater is great. It looks visually looks amazing. It's just for some of the magic that we do, it's too small of a stage. So
was it the one where you performed the last time, right? With the black stage, and the other one is like the wooden place, right? It's like a smaller and
So that is the theater upstairs. So that theater upstairs feels more intimate because you are really close to everything, and then the magic that would normally work. I feel that the magic that we do on stage in the big theater does it still works, but I think it gets a bigger reaction from the audience when they are closer to. I don't know why that is, but I feel that. I don't know if Rico agrees with me on that, but.
Well, it's also sort of, but I think it's like a rippling effect also, because there's a lot of people close to each other, which now might not be ideal, but usually it is. And the room is pretty small and intimate, and I think you feel closer to the magic and the performer, and it's more like I'm talking to you rather than I'm talking to the room when you're on stage.
Yeah, exactly.
But definitely, you feel it 100%.
Yeah. And
But you also just said, Fritz, like you try to do card tricks that don't feel like card tricks.
Yeah, so even um, I think the last show I tried out to use a double blank deck of cards because
Mhm.
it's not about that trick, that card to pocket routine is not about the faces of the cards. It doesn't really matter. It's just about the name of that person. So I decided you could also do the trick business cards if you want, but I wanted to see if it get the same reaction if I just swapped it for a double blank deck, and I felt that it didn't make a difference for the audience. I had an argument with another magician that when I use a gimmick card in that trick, he felt that it didn't feel that it fits. That card should not be there. And I tried also use the white of the like a two of hearts or something like that, but I feel that just the deck of cards would just work fine as well. And either it's the colors that I use. So in the homing card that I do, it's about the colors. It's not about the card necessarily. And like tricks like cards across, again, it's about the quantity of the cards that move around. So I admire Rico for doing card tricks on stage. It's just not doesn't fit my style to do that. And if I do the card trick, I would do like a silly card trick with a like a I have this big jumbo deck of cards, and I would do a card trick with that. And then it's because it's impossible to manipulate because you cannot you need your thumb to put in the break. That's that. So I would take it to an absurd or an extreme level if I would do a card trick. And I guess yeah. So, but I don't mind seeing it. Just to be clear, I love when people do it. I think I saw Michael Vincent do the feathers. What's it? Feathers of the. He did a name calling or card calling routine. I think feathers of the flock or something like that from an old book. And he did that, and it worked great. And but it's just yeah, it's not the character that I am on stage with the cards. So.
Also, something that you're saying, which I think is really good lesson for doing magic on stage with cards, is like you're saying it's about the quantity of the cards for you, not about the identity or about the color or it's about the signature, right? Like with the card to pocket. And I think even for stage magic, that would be well a good way to do card magic on stage or something similar with cards. Do you have any other ideas about how to improve visibility on stage?
Well, I use the Parla deck from Phoenix a lot. So I don't use that to manipulate cards like palming because those cards are a bit too big. But for other tricks where you use the back of the cards visibility wise, I think yeah they look nice and like an invisible deck or something or a brainwave deck that works really great on stage because the audience is not handling those cards. So and visual wise, yeah, other tricks you could do, not about just the colors or the quantity. I'm just thinking. I made a whole list. You could do linking cards, but that doesn't make sense because it's very small. But still a good trick if you could do jumbo cards or even like card warp if you could do that on stage. Uh, Eugene Berger did it with the jumbo card. So those are tricks that are visually interesting. It's just I'm not sure if it is the right venue, the big stage. But
Do you know there's this? I believe it's from Brother John Hammond. He has this trick with the card, and he's like, "Can you see what card it is?" And they go like, "No," and then he lets go and grabs it again, and it becomes like a
yeah,
jumbo card.
yeah. So that trick was in Genie. That was
Ah,
published in Genie. Yeah. Uh, it's a good trick. It's it's a nice, almost like you use it as a gag, but it's also magical because you would the card becomes bigger. So it's
Actually, Vernon has something as well to produce an ace from an extension on the table, and Christian Nivala uses. I don't know if you know
do you know?
Christian
Do you know
Nivala.
where he takes it from under the close-up mat with the jumbo card? And it goes like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and Christian Nivala has a routine that he performed in the FISM, and he's a magician from Finland, and he uses as well this kind of things like producing like. I think I can try to find the routine. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see YouTube. Yeah, but very interesting. Yeah.
So
Yeah, go. Oh, sorry.
what I also think is interesting about your to go further on the act of using cards, but to make it not about the cards is, for example, you with the cards bucket you use music, right? And
Yes.
you edited this music tape in order to sort of let the music tell you what to do, and the music is possessed and it's screwing you over, and you're like,
Yes.
and I think that's already like interesting because it makes it so much less about the magic or about the cards in some way, and it's more about you added this other element into your magic, which is now making it different from the rest. And I think you're pretty good in doing that. So, do you have any advice on that?
Uh, I think it's best if you combine your card magic with other objects. So if it's just cards, people would think, oh, it's just a card book. If you add other elements to it, like music, or you make it more,
Mhm.
or have a wine glass, or anything else that is part of the trick, I feel already that makes a difference. I think Joshua J also mentioned this in a research that he did, that was in Magic Magazine, where the audience was asked, how they would see a card trick. As soon as other objects are part of a trick, like a handkerchief or something else, they would not perceive that as a card trick. And I would tend to agree with that observation because, um, again, it would not be about the card, but everything else that's part of it's like all actors. If it's just cards, it's just the one actor. But if you have the wine glass and you have the scarf and this and that, all those props become actors in a play, and that's what the audience sees. They see a play of objects rather than just the one prop, which would be the monologue, I guess, in that regard. So yeah, that's what I try to do. Not always, but yeah, if it's specific a card trick, I would also say it is a card trick. And if it's not a card trick, I would not mention card trick at all. But if it's necessary for clarity or for some purpose in the trick, then I would definitely mention it's a card trick.
Could you give some context about what you just said, like or at least your vision of the thing Joshua J research with, for example, card through handkerchief?
So I don't the research is out there. So it's funny you should mention. I think I have it here. So Tom Stone also wrote some notes with it. So this was published in the Magic Magazine September 2016. So basically, there's a whole research on what do audiences really think. And I think Tom Stone wrote on his blog that he does not agree with all the assumptions they make, but some of the conclusions from the research are actually some things that we already know, but we never quantified that before. So from an academic perspective, it's nice to we actually have this on paper. And so they ask questions like how much do people like magic? Where do you put it between the film, concert, comedian? So here it says that seeing magic live, it's between going to a party and seeing a magician, which is great. There's only 5% on both sides, which is great. But again, this is based for an American audience who get to see magic a lot more than maybe somebody from Zambia. I don't know. I'm just saying a country out loud, So
Yeah.
again, you have to take this
Well,
research within a certain framework, but still the conclusions could be universal applicable. So
I think making this kind of questions in the States is a trap, because first time I was in the States, and the only the one and only time that I've been in the States was from a whole month, and I was in Arizona, in Nevada, in Las Vegas. I went to the Grand Canyon, to different places, and every single place where I went, every people were asking me, "What do you do for a living?" And you know, the rest of people who were with me, they were saying like, "I'm a doctor, I'm a, I don't know, a lawyer, I'm a business guy, whatever." And they were, "Oh," and I was saying, "I'm a magician, a magician, oh my god, God." They got crazy, you know. It was like, these people aren't okay, you know. There's no one, you know, like driving here, you know. So so the thing is, I don't know. They really like magic, you know. They really like magic. But I don't know. Even in Spain, that Tamar is a very big figure, you know, a very public figure. I don't know if people like magic, you know, in the same way that people like magic in the States. So I don't know if we should compare countries. You know,
Sure, but
it's
again,
risky.
Tom Stone is from Sweden, so he also shares his experiences with the conclusion. So, like I
Yeah,
said, some of it he agrees on that he experienced himself with his when he does magic. But again,
yeah.
the case study, you know, you could put your question marks there, but I think the conclusions would be very interesting, and you can, you know, you could set up your own experiment and do it in, like for example, South America, or you do it in Europe or
Yeah,
Zambia.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
but even like it just depends what side of the case study you're looking at, right? Because if we're gonna look at, would you rather see a magic show or go to a party, for example? Then like you said, you're in America. It's very magic is very known, so you probably have very good result. But if you maybe in the Netherlands, people don't really know so much what good magic looks like or what it is, and they go like, "Ah, it's more for kids. I'm gonna go to a party." But then maybe if you're in Zambia, then you're like, "What? I've never been able to see something like magic. I'm gonna go to the magic show. We can have a party another time."
Yeah.
But for stuff that you're saying like how it's perceived, I think that's more universal, right? Like, do we perceive it still as a card trick when there's a handkerchief in use?
So from a cultural perspective, I think even that is different because in some
Mm,
countries, like the US, playing cards are usually associated with gambling, whereas in other countries, you know, a deck of cards is the devil's picture book. So in some countries, you know, if you want to do a card trick, some people would not like to see it because they associate it with that. So yeah, so even from a cultural perspective, it's interesting to see how different uh, people perceive magic. Some people believe it's real. I've had that. I have people, you know, when I did magic for them, they came after me and you talk about dead people. I'm like, I really had to educate them and talk to them like this is not real what I do. This is for entertainment. But sometimes, you know, when you in the magic castle, when you perform, they go nuts. You don't have to do anything that difficult, and it's very satisfying, but it's also almost too easy, I guess, as an artist when you get that reaction because I feel I would
mm,
want to work for that reaction. So here in the Netherlands, it's very nice to work for them because you can get that reaction if you want, but you just need to work a little bit harder, be more friendly, be more open, take yourself not that serious, but what you do, you take that serious, obviously. And
mm.
yeah, so again, it's a different approach from different, you know, everybody has a different way or different concept of magic. So yeah.
But on the other hand, I even feel that, for example, doing magic at the Amsterdam Magic Show, it's easier to get a good reaction than to do magic at a gig, close-up gig, for
Yes.
example.
Yes.
Because people are already in the mindset, I'm going to see magic, and they come to see you. Like, you are there as an host going to them, rather than being a stranger at a party that approaches a group of
Yeah.
people to show them something amazing.
Yeah, I agree. So when that happens, when people are in the right mindset, then I feel I could do the magic that I want to perform. A lot of the magic that I do uh, is I'm not saying that I don't enjoy performing them, but I have other pieces of magic that I feel are should fit in a certain environment. So when I did a Fringe show in Amsterdam, I did more a storytelling performance, and then I used magic as a vehicle, and I could actually perform the pieces of magic. I don't think even Rico saw my cups and balls, but that cups and balls, I hardly show it because it's not the right venue, the Amsterdam Magic Show, and I feel that particular trick is very close to my heart, so I wanted to share it only with a special occasion. And there's a lot of tricks that I feel like I share them, but it depends on the venue and the environment. And Tom Stone says that you can still make money with those tricks, but I feel there's the if they I would never do that in a paid gig. The cups and balls, I would never do that because that's too philosophical. It's too yeah, no, people need to have the right mindset to perceive it as magical and would admire the magic that is within the cups and balls.
So what are things you would do at a paid gig in that case?
A little bit more easy to understand, like more I guess commercial tricks, and I just enjoy performing them. I think I like interacting with the people more than just than the tricks itself. So the tricks are just for me to break the ice and you know, do some cool stuff. But yeah, it's just like Extreme Burn is a great trick. I love it as an opener. People love money, and I have several presentations that I use depending on the audience. You know, I use it as a oh, I never say that I'm a magician, by the way, because if I say that I'm a magician, that already gets assumptions from people. So I want them to conclude that on their own, that I'm a magician after the first trick, because I don't want assumptions getting started. So I introduce myself. I like opening my act, close-up act, with just one sentence, which is an absurd sentence, like, for example, my name is Fritz. I was asked around to show everybody something, and in fact, I'm a professional tax evader. So weird sentence to say, but people already get interesting. Like, what do you mean tax evader? I can tell by your faces you don't understand, so I'll show you. And then I go to an Extreme Burn type of routine. And if they enjoy it, you can tell by the body language if they enjoy it. And if they don't, then you say goodbye and you move. There's thousands of people at that party. Don't worry about them. There's enough people where you could perform them. But most of the time, if they like your character, then the first trick should be your mode to get into their environment. So yeah.
I think that's a good thing you just said. You see if they like it. If they don't, move on. There's many other people there. Because I feel that a lot of magicians, myself included, have sort of this feeling when they get hired, they should be there to entertain everyone.
Yeah, so I did a gig years ago, and this was I was still studying in Maastricht, and I was paid to do a gig, and it was, I think, either 1 hour of close-up magic. There were like a lot of tables. Nobody wanted to see magic. Nobody, except for the table of the client. And he said he enjoyed it very much, and that's all I needed. I got paid after the show. But that's also, again, it's the type of audience you get. Those were like, how do you say that, like country people, I guess. They were sitting, you could already tell by the body language. They were dragged by their husbands or wives. So again, you can, if you just watch the people and see if they're having a good time, then it's much easier to connect with them. If you see two people crying and they're signing papers, you know, and they're taking the rings off, maybe you do the sponge rabbits a bit later on, I guess. So you just need to read also the audience as well, where you where you can go and perform, obviously. So, and again, it's also a part of awareness. You know, magicians tend to boom, 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 like a facade of magic, but you need to breathe and look at the audience and say, are you actually enjoying all of this? You know, and again, so I try to be more on a human level. The more I perform close up, the more I try to be more on that level, and do less tricks and connect with them on a human level. And once I'm at that level, I could experiment with certain tricks that I'm working on, like in any card at any number. I feel if I have them on my side, I feel I could get away with doing a version of any card at any number. That's not something that normally I would do, but if the audience is up for it, and they always have questions, so you can always adapt and vary on your card tricks that you want to do. But Does that answer your question? I don't know. I forgot what you asked.
Yeah, no, it does. It does. And it also
Yeah.
sounds to me that it sort of depends, like, your relationship to the audience in terms of how deep you can go, like, in terms of the depth of a trick.
Yeah, exactly. So, and if people ask you again to come back again, then you can do something different because you already like it's with the Amsterdam Magic Show. They want to see magic. They know what you're doing. So then you can try new things if you want. You know, if they're on the table, you know, you can implement the table in your trick or whatever. But usually the 5 tricks that I do are always the same. And if they ask me to come back, I always have. And then mostly I would do card tricks because then that I have more, I feel more comfortable doing that than doing others. So, and then, you know, you can vary with your card tricks if they like.
And you enjoyed the most, I suppose.
Yeah, so I've always considered card magic as my hobby and I still enjoy it. It's just when I do it for lay people, paid gigs, I don't do them as much. But as soon as I feel that the audience likes the cards, then you know my 52 buddies come out and they'll dance for you any way they want. You know, they can be triumphant, they can swim in oil and water if they want. They can hop from one place to the other, whatever they want to do. So yeah.
Could you share with us like the wildest or the craziest experiences that you have experienced, you know, like doing private shows or shows in general, gigs in general?
Yes, I have a whole lot of them. One of them is, I guess, when I was in Japan. I was in Tokyo. This was like 11 years ago, and I wanted to get out of my comfort zone. And I met up with a few magicians in Tokyo, and we did bar magic, restaurant magic, nightclub magic, strip club magic. We went to all the places. Yes, even that, Rico, bar magic. I know it's weird, right? It's weird.
Mm.
So and that's where I learned a lot of things when doing that. Besides not speaking the language and how to ask for money, but I got a donation and I got a small gold bar, and I think it was worth about 1,000 yen. It was from some millionaire who actually had small gold bars, and he gave me, and it's like I got paid. I got paid in gold, and it's amazing. And that was probably one of the weirdest experience that I
What did you
had.
do with
I just
that?
I think I did a coin bend. So that's
Well,
what.
well, I mean, he went to the strip club afterwards, right? So it's.
Yes, I made it rain with the gold bar and just flew it. And there it is. There it is. Yeah, but there's many stories. Usually the stories that stick are the horror stories, I guess. So the best story, yeah, I have, you know, the euphoria you get from doing a real show, or a good show. I would say I did one in Ljubljana in Slovenia. That was really good one. But yeah, just the feeling I have after the show. It's not like that something strange or weird happens, I guess. But enough horror stories for sure.
Well, would you mind sharing one?
Yes, I would. Thank you for asking. So,
I was keeping the, you know, the tension, you know, just.
yes, I know. So I was doing a show for an egg company years ago. So, and I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do card in egg. So Sankey put out card in egg years ago. It's very simple. It's like the coin in bread, you know, the coin in bread where you just push the coins through the bread to the bread roll. And he did the same. Basically, you mercury fold the card and you push the card through the egg so it looks like it comes from the egg. I'm like, great, practice it at home, perfect. And so I did it at this gig, but what I didn't realize is that the shell of an egg differs. And the shell of that particular egg, because they had baskets of eggs everywhere. So I signed the card, they mercury folded, it's there, it's palmed there. And then I asked the lady, pick any egg. She picks an egg, I put it on top, and I try to push on the egg. Obviously, it didn't work. So I tried to push harder. You know how science works? Right. If you put a lot of pressure on a small space, it just expands and explodes. And I saw the egg yolk just in slow motion around me. And it was one of the most horrific things I've ever done, where I had egg on everybody. And luckily, this was after the show. So it was not in my, it was in my free time, basically. But at the end, the lady threw a glass of water in my face as a rebuttal. So I don't blame her. She was absolutely right. It was horrible. So yeah, So sometimes you're being cocky and arrogant and feel like I can do it. I'm a man, and then you get smacked down in the face, back to earth, and then you start being humble again. Like, okay, don't underestimate your superpowers. So. Are you happy now, Rico, that I told you that story?
Definitely. More than happy, Fritz.
More.
Yeah, so if I may jump back, because I'm.
Oh my God. So,
Go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, I lost you for a couple of seconds. I don't know what you were saying.
You're back now. Thank you. No, what was your question?
I can't hear you now. I don't know why.
Okay. Do you hear me, Rico?
Oh my God.
I hear you. Yeah, it's
okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but he had a question. I want to quickly go back on when I was in.
Now I hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. It's the distance between there and there. Something I learned when performing in Japan was how you can make sure that your magic even transcends the language barrier. So I tried to make it more visual and try to adapt to the places where I was. So, and even it was quite warm in August when I was there. So even wearing a jacket outside was very warm, but inside it was okay. But you would also do magic outside. And so again, you had to, dress accordingly and then it limits your pockets and then also it limits your material. So even that, you started thinking, okay, what props are multifunctional? What can I do? What objects are in the bar? People wear sunglasses in the nightclubs back then. So that was weird. So you can do tricks with sunglasses, make them stand up with loops. A lot of beer bottles over there, so you could do your cap and bottle routine if you wanted to. Lots of other things and very visual stuff. It taught me how not to depend on just talking magic, but also to make it sure that you can do magic without speaking as well. So that's also a point I wanted to make. Sorry.
No, that's a good.
Sorry.
Yeah. What's your favorite country or continent to perform?
Oh, that's a good question. Continent. I like Europe in general, I guess, because of the openness to magic. I guess it's much more accepted here in Europe than in other continents. I guess in Asia, it depends on where you are. I guess I think China it's much more accepted because they have magic on TV now, and same with South America and with the US. But I like performing in Europe. The UK is a good audience. The Dutch people are great. German people.
You sure?
No. So sometimes we as soon as they loosen up, Dutch people, they can be very receptive to what you perform. And again, your likability comes into play, and you don't be a dick when you do magic. It's basically what I'm trying to say. So if you're on the same level, like in it's not magician and then you, but you should be equally at the same level. And sometimes I try even with jokes about myself to be here, so there's a difference in status. it makes them like be more faster, I guess. So I try to establish that as soon as possible, and then when they realize, oh, this is fun, I think that is already one hurdle that you can take and make them more open up to magic. And yeah, and also it helps
Yes.
if you're having fun. If you're having fun, and you and that aura feel they they feel that. So if you're having fun, they also will have fun.
You're shortening the distance between you as well when you do that. Like
Yes, I agree.
sometimes those people are a bit like this,
Yeah,
but then of course.
yeah, but those things, those body language, it's so important to notice. So if people do that, they either do that for protecting themselves, but you can easily make a joke about that. If they're sitting like this, any joke would work, and then immediately they realize, oh shit, they see that I'm like this. They will immediately disarm themselves automatically, and then make sure that you make that person the star, obviously, because that helps makes you look good. So if you make the other person, it's the same in improv. If you're playing with somebody and you do a scene, it's if you make the other person look good, it makes you look good as well.
Yeah.
That's what I try to do with spectators as well. Make them look good, and then if they look good, I look good.
Definitely, but also like I think Dutch audiences especially like they really don't like to be thought as stupid. Like
Yes.
they hate it very much when they don't understand something in some way, but not in the magic sense, but in the sense where you're bringing it in such a way like, look, I'm much cooler and smarter than you because I know how to do this and you don't. I
Yes.
mean, I guess everyone hates that, but especially Dutch people hate it even more.
Yes. Yeah, and I agree. And they tell you in your face like, I hate it. I don't understand. And then I tell them it's okay to not understand. It's okay. It's not a big deal. It keeps the mystery alive. And then sometimes they really persist on that. I teach them a very simple trick, and then they do it for me, and they realize that it's much more difficult than you know,
Mm.
knowing a trick. It's everybody can do that, but actually doing the trick, it's a big difference. So you could see people struggling with just the method and not paying attention to everything, because then they go like they do this to me and like, okay, yeah, so tell me to take a card. Okay, take a card. Even just the basic things they forget, right? So and it's good to educate people that what we do as magicians is difficult, and it's okay to give them a sneak peek so they understand um, that what we do is difficult, and
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
it's an
Did
My
you?
one of my mentors used to say like the audience wants to be fooled by a smart person and by a person who deserves to be respect by the audience, you know. So I think that's very interesting about what you are talking, because I think it's like something general, but maybe especially in Central Europe, because maybe in the south of Europe, in Italy, in Spain, in Portugal, maybe we have like this Mediterranean attitude or character that everything is like more chilling and everything. And I just feel, you know, like the difference between performing in the UK and Spain is quite different.
I feel in those countries, I feel um, it gets more to here rather than here. So it hits that those countries more on an emotional level, I guess, and here it's more at the intellectual level, I guess. And that's it's very funny that you mentioned it, because um, were you there at the KLF with Mike Vincent? No, I guess not. You were not there.
No, I was the year after that.
Okay, haha, it was the best year ever. No, actually, it was. It was because Roy Walton was there. That's why. So,
Who?
anyways, so one thing that I noticed was the difference in style and approach in magic. Because Michael Vincent was very much almost academic and intellectual, where Woody Aragon, who was there, very much on the feelings and the emotion. And obviously, that depends on the audience. And I feel that those countries, um, and I appreciate that they can do that. And it's just not my style, but I love seeing that type of magic. And I think that type of magic also can really be enjoyable and memorable for people.
Did you ever have any magic-related nightmares, Fritz?
Magic-related nightmares.
Yeah.
Walking around naked, close-up magic, is that a nightmare? Could that be possible?
I guess, yeah.
That would be.
Well, this is a fantasy, right?
Right. Yes. Fantasy nightmare. Who knows?
For my fans.
Yeah. OnlyFans. OnlyFans. You can find me there as well. OnlyFans.com. No.
That's Fritz with a Z. We'll post it down.
Yes. Yes. I need money, please. Hard to pay for.
A mummy? You said a mummy?
Yeah, I said money or mummy. I don't know. Mommy. Okay.
Yeah.
But when it comes to, I forgot my train of thought again because it's.
Sorry.
Magical nightmares.
Right, nightmare. So one of the things that happened was I did a show and I forgot my playing cards. So yes. So again, that is my tool of the trade that I feel most comfortable with. So I decided, you know what, I can do a deck of cards, a close-up magic without deck of cards. And again, I think those nightmares, it's just a challenge, I guess. So, you know, a nightmare could be not to do a card trick on stage for an hour. That could be a nightmare, but again, it could be a challenge as well. So I've done a show with no card tricks in it, or do a show where you don't do magic, but you just do storytelling and you visualize the magic that you perform. That could also be a nightmare, but could also be a nightmare would be, I guess, that somebody would throw away my Jerry Nuggets while performing, I guess. So they, you know, oh, I know a trick, and they take it from that, and it's a nightclub, and they start dealing 3 piles of 7 cards, and then guy goes,
the table is all wet.
Yes, all wet, and I'm like, no, what are you doing? And then the deck of cards is like, I don't know, like this thick or something, you know.
What the fuck are you doing with a deck of Jerry's in a nightclub?
It's a nightmare. I don't know. Could be a casino. We don't know. It could be.
But have you ever actually like dreamt of any magic nightmares, like in your sleep?
Are the people watching are 18 plus? Can we talk about that?
Yes, we can talk about. We can talk about whatever the fuck we want to fucking talk about. Fuck.
No, so one of the things that happens in my mind is I session with people that I've never sessioned with. So it's just they come and maybe it's my subconscious that, you know, wants to work on a trick, but it's just mostly the sessioning with other magicians that come into my mind, either dead or alive. And, you know, it's good to make sure you have a notebook next to your bed, because otherwise you will lose that thought. But it's just sessioning and just, you know, exploring what is possible, and sometimes clicks. So yeah.
I once had one nightmare about AMS, actually.
You
about what?
have to bring your suit.
No. I was on stage performing the card through handkerchief, and then someone screams from the audience, "Your magic sucks!" And then someone else screams from the audience, "But we love your personality, though."
And again, that is good. That is a good thing, because, like I said before, it's like if you as a person, if you're likable, that doesn't really matter what you do. You can, you can even do like this type of magic. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, here's a tip for you: if you cannot handle heckling, go do stand-up comedy, because that's how you get really across with heckles.
Have you done any stand-up comedy?
Yes. I'm part of the comedy circuit in Amsterdam, and
sorry, I can't stop laughing because
I'm so funny. I know, right? I'm so
Rico's nightmare is like when a girl kisses you on when your best friend, you know, kiss you on your cheek, and you were expecting another kind of kiss, you know. It's like, yeah, but we like your personality. It's like who cares about the personality? You don't like the magic.
My soul is there. This is what I do. This is my being. You don't like it? You like my personality.
Yeah, that's the magician's ego. You don't like my magic. Who cares about the personality?
Yeah. Well,
Oh my
it
god.
can hurt though because you've worked like years to perfect a trick, and then when they say magic sucks, that can be like a stab. But again, could
Yeah.
be people, could be even me, Rico, that said it in your dreams. I don't know. I can be that kind of person that say you magic sucks, but
Yeah, I remember you screaming it from the sound booth.
yes. I apologize. I will stop haunting your dreams.
Thank you. Unless you want to jam and have a beer, then it's fine.
Always, always. Beer and jamming is something that's probably the most fun part with other magicians, especially with card magic, because I feel like I know a lot about card magic, and then I hang out with Rico with other people, and they show me things that I'm like, okay, apparently I'm still a student, which I always will be a student of card magic, but you always learn new things. Not so long ago,
Not,
I was
Mhm.
doing 7 card assembly, which I never heard of, which was great. So I started working on that.
I hate assemblies.
Yes,
Assemblies. Yeah, I
but
hate
the
them.
best assembly is when the Avengers got together.
I
So,
hate thimbles assemblies. I hate them.
oh, yes, of course. Who wants to see a thimble assemble? Thimble assemble.
Assembly, yeah.
How the fuck does that look like? It's like you have one thimble here, you have like 4 here, and you go like.
Yeah, so you would have 4 here, and you would just go like this, and then you go like this, and then
But then would it look like you're going like this?
yeah, but they change color, right? So I don't know. Anyways, but yes.
Or there
Uh,
are different colored thimbles like jumping from finger to finger?
Finger to finger. Is that your porn
Yeah.
star name? Is that what? Is that no?
Finger to
Yeah, so
finger
actually,
sounds like
actually, the
whatever.
cover picture is this.
Yeah. No, but card magic is. I love what you can do with it. You can bend them, rip them. You can sign on them, different colors. And I always love jamming with cards. Any kind of principle. Just even though I'm not an expert, I'm always eager, mathematical stuff or gambling stuff. Anything card magic wise, I'm always interested to see it. So yeah, if you're
I love it too, unless someone takes the double out of your hand.
the double, yeah. Well, how? So okay, so you've had people take the double from your hand,
No. But when we were in Scotland,
right? Yes, yeah. Well, don't perform that magic in a nightclub, I guess. Stephen Blair. Yeah, that was.
that was still.
Um,
It
What?
was still the weirdest experience I ever had, though. Like going out in Glasgow, I was like, these are 50-year-old women looking like they're 16. Like dressing like you're 16, but they look 50.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and our friend was doing a trick, and then this girl just took the double from his hand, and then what you do?
It's double.
Yeah, so. But again, these are things, when I saw that, I'm like, okay, so you should never be in control, and also he should stop doing. He should have stopped at some point. You could tell that they were just fucking about with him. It was not about him performing for them. It's just them trying to heckle him. So if it was me, I would have stopped already because it's not worth the hassle of being dicked around with. So yeah, good story. Good story.
Good story. And on that note, I think it's a good way to end the podcast.
I hate thimble magic.
There we go again. Controversial. Controversial. So,
Find me online, hit subscribe, like, whatever. I don't know. Do you guys do that? No. Okay. So you can guys find
yeah,
me
we do it.
if you're ever in Amsterdam, please don't call me because it's annoying if you call. No. Just please let me know if you're ever around. I love to jam. I love to drink beers, and and you can always find me online if you have any questions about anything. I'm very accessible, and I would love to help you out. So thank you so much for having the both of you have me. Thank you so much for the invite, and
Do you want to share with us before your social media, your Instagram, OnlyFans, whatever?
Yes, it would be here and there, and no, you will get them.
What about Grinder?
Description. Yeah.
Grinder, it's also possible. You will see me with a picture of Rico on there. So.
Okay.
It's a good picture.
On that note, adios.
Thank you.
With my name.
Goedenavond.
Thank you for being here, Fritz. I had a lot of fun.
Oh, yes. Thank you for having
Thanks,
me.
Chief.